Hello and welcome back to the Pet Toon channel. It's like an addiction, isn't it? This Pet Toon channel. Never mind. Today's show, we're looking at transgender athletes, very controversial. And again, in the sport theme, we're looking at should the Tokyo Olympics even go ahead after being cancelled once or twice? They're looking at staging it. We'll be looking at it a bit later. But first, we're going to move on to Ask Johnny. Listen, I arrived again, early, and I couldn't bloody get in. The cops pulled me up and said, "What are you doing?" They thought I was some sort of bloody vagrant wandering around. And you still going on about that? Oh, you just don't care. You never bloody cared about me. Never. Oh, you're just an idiot. I should belt you over the head with that stupid clipboard you're always carrying. Don't go mention the clipboard. Any belt over the head of anybody, it's going to be me belting you over the head with me bloody clipboard. Well, come on then. Come on. Do you want to go, do you? Do you want to go with me? Well, I'll teach you a bloody thing. Do you want a piece of me, do you? You want to have a go, do you? Do you want a piece of me, hey? Come on then, come on. I'll have a go, all right then. Come on, all right then. I'll get you now, you bloody... Oh, hey, you. I'll get you now. Oh, you bloody hell. Well, here we are again, Johnny, at the beautiful Pet Toon Studios for another Ask Johnny, and it is a pleasure to be here. G'day, Johnny. As usual, it's great to have you here, mate. I always look forward to our little talks every morning. Yeah. Now, we've got a very controversial letter here from Rosie. Fanny, yeah, get him his usual stuff, yeah. 2 donuts. And his coffee, white with 6 sugars. And hello to all our followers down in Long Tonk. We're really big in Long Tonk. The Pet Toon channel is very popular down there. And Rosie says, Johnny, there has been a lot of talk lately on ladies who are born male now competing in sports as female. As a man of fairness and wisdom, how do you stand on this controversial subject? Signed, Rosie. P.S. How is your transition going? Rosie. It was Rosie, wasn't it? Rosie. It may look like I'm transitioning, but I'm not. I'm just being good old me. But thanks for asking. Oh, the transgender issue. Yeah, look, we've all seen the films. You know, you've got the little girls running around in the 1500 metres, and they turn into the straight and everyone's cheering. And then out of nowhere comes this huge, great big Sheila looking about 6'4" and just runs right past them. And in the last minute wins the event. We've all seen it. Yes. Now I remember back in the 60s when I was a little boy, all black and white TV and all that sort of stuff. I was playing junior footy. And back then it was an all-boy affair, let me tell you. And little Wendy, she lived on the farm down the road a bit. She was about 4 foot tall and as skinny as a rope, but she wanted to play football. So, the coach, who was pretty forward thinking at that time when I think about it, he said, "Come on, Wendy, have a go." And of course, Wendy, she got a jumper and a shorts and a new boots. And she came to training a couple of times and she got picked in the team. Well, Wendy had a bit of a crack, but about at the 4-minute mark, Big Jonesy, who didn't care much for anybody, I wouldn't get in Big Jonesy's way. He came running through the pack and he happened to collect little old Wendy and she went down like a little bag of spuds. Yeah, I bet that'll ruffle a few feathers, Johnny. There was a huge outcry. The coach nearly got bloody jailed. And Wendy never played the game again, and no bloody girls were allowed to play football till the last couple of years. Now, if you get a young bloke who gets to teenage years and he reckons he's a Sheila instead of a bloke, and he wants to dress as a girl and all that, that's fine. But normally, he'll be a lot bigger than the girls. Now, should he be able to compete with girls in football or any other physically demanding sport? I don't think so, because he's going to flog the living daylights out of them. Like putting a Labrador in a race against a greyhound. Now, the Labrador's not going to beat the greyhound, is it? But that doesn't mean you don't think anything less of the Labrador. The Labrador's just not suited for running fast like a bloody greyhound. Does anyone come along and say, hey, let my bloody Labrador run in the Kingsford Stakes, or I'm going to take you to court and sue the arse off you? No, because it's painfully obvious to everyone that a Labrador can't compete with a greyhound in a bloody race. What about basketball? Height discrimination. Do you see any little short blokes playing basketball these days in the big leagues? No, they're all 7'6". You could be the best bloody basketball player in the world at 5'2", and you won't get a game. They don't get around saying, well, we should all be able to play in the NBA because it's prejudicial against the short people. Do you think the bloody managers and all these multi-millionaires who own these teams are going to say, give a couple of those short blokes a game for Christ's sake? No, they're not. They're not going to say that at all. And I don't bloody blame them. It would be ridiculous. So why are we looking forward to seeing great big Sheilas lining up in the 100 metres, getting down, getting ready for the starting pistol, and you go along and here's 6 great big blokes in women's little shorts, all lining up to run the 100 metres against the girls. It'd be bloody ridiculous, but that's where it'll end up if something's not done. Well, I'm sure that's going to ruffle a few feathers, those ridiculous comments, Johnny. But we'll move on. This one, a similar sort of subject sport. This one is from Hoshan in Tokyo. And by Jesus, are we big in Tokyo? We're number 2, I've heard, in Tokyo. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we're going to move to number 1. But anyway, Hoshan from Tokyo says, Johnny, the Olympics are in absolute turmoil. Should they go ahead? A comment from you would have a huge calming effect, and I'm sure it will have a huge, again huge, influence on the IOC. That's the International Olympic Committee. Please help us. Signed, Hoshan. P.S. Are you coming down to the games? What do you think of all that? Who the hell wants to go to Japan now when there's a bloody international pandemic? Now, it costs a bloody fortune to put the Olympics on in the first place. I don't know how many yen they've spent. I don't know what the value of the yen is, but I bet it's a bloody lot they've spent over there. They've spent a fortune getting the bloody Olympics up and running. Why don't we somehow designate areas, designate sports, even better, I'm just making this up as I go, designate sports to be in each individual country. Like you'll have the javelin throw in Germany or something, and they televise that, and they have the shot put over there in the Philippines, and they have the wrestling in Bulgaria. The Bulgarians love the wrestling. That way, we could have the Olympics all over the bloody place. It'll bring the world together. The main thing is keeping everybody out of Japan. Who the hell wants to go to Japan now when there's a bloody international pandemic? What the hell are they thinking? But my idea of having individual sports spread all over the world just has a touch of genius about it. It's genius! Now, before I get into drawing something, whatever it is, I haven't decided yet, it came to my attention recently, and it's very sad news, because of COVID-19 ravaging the earth, that many millionaires are having to buy luxury yachts so they can holiday on them instead of jet setting all around the world. When I heard it, I said, oh God, it's come to this. These poor blokes and women probably, they're having to spend their hard-earned millions just to buy a big boat so their families can have a bloody holiday. Yeah, I've often wondered, through all this COVID crisis, how the bloody millionaires and billionaires have been hanging on. You know, you think we're doing it hard. Other people out there getting a sack and all that sort of stuff, well, you should walk a few miles in a billionaire's shoes. He can't take his kids and all his bloody entourage on a holiday to Switzerland. Can't take him to bloody Africa for a 8-week safari. So what's a man got to do with his money? Well, he's been bloody relegated to buying luxury yachts. It's not all a bed of roses for these billionaires, you know. I worry about their mental health. How are they coping? Hopefully, the light is at the end of the tunnel and these billionaires can get back to spending their bloody millions on whatever they want. Now that's just given me an idea to do some art. Made me feel all arty. Drawing a millionaire's yacht and how the poor buggers are suffering through the COVID crisis. Well, that brings us to the end of another fantastic show. We've laughed, we've cried, we've punched on. It's been a great bloody show. I hope you can join me for the next one. So I'll see you very soon.